Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that the most powerful organization in the world had vanished overnight. Its leaders were arrested, its wealth disappeared, its secrets were buried. And even today, more than 700 years later, people still ask the same question. What really happened to the Knights Templar? Were they simply warrior monks who fought in the Crusades? Or did they uncover a secret so dangerous that kings and popes wanted them erased from history? This is the true story of the Knights Templar, one of the most mysterious organizations the world has ever known. Chapter 1. The Birth of a Legend. Our story begins in the year 1119. Jerusalem had recently fallen into Christian hands after the First Crusade. Thousands of pilgrims traveled across dangerous roads to visit the Holy City. But many never arrived. Bandits, thieves, and raiders attacked travelers almost daily. To solve this problem, a small group of French knights made an extraordinary premise. Led by a nobleman named Eudes de Payenne, they vowed to protect Christian pilgrims. They took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. They owned almost nothing. No castles, no treasure, no armies, just faith and determination. At first, nobody could have imagined that this tiny group would one day become one of the richest and most powerful organizations on Earth. Chapter 2. The Rise of the Templars. The Knights established their headquarters on a site believed to be the location of the ancient Temple of Solomon. Because of this, they became known as the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. Most people simply called them the Knights Templar. Their reputation spread rapidly throughout Europe. Kings admired them, nobles respected them. The church supported them. Soon, wealthy families began donating land, money, horses, and castles. The Templars grew stronger every year. Young men from across Europe joined their ranks. Their distinctive white robes marked them as warriors of God. On the battlefield, they became famous for their courage. Templars were expected to fight until death, rather than retreat. This fierce reputation turned them into legends. Chapter 3. Warriors of the Crusades. As the Crusades continued, the Knights Templar stood at the center of many major battles. They fought in deserts under scorching heat. They defended fortresses surrounded by enemies. They escorted kings and commanders through hostile territory. Many Templars died in combat, but their willingness to sacrifice themselves made them heroes throughout Christian Europe. Stories of their bravery traveled across kingdoms. Children grew up hearing tales about fearless Templar warriors. Yet military success was only part of their story. Their greatest achievement would happen far away from the battlefield, and it would change the world forever. Chapter 4. The World's First International Bank. Imagine living in the Middle Ages. Traveling with gold was extremely dangerous. Robbers could attack at any moment. The Knights Templar created an innovative solution. A traveler could deposit money with the Templars in one city and receive a written document. Then they could travel hundreds of miles away and withdraw their funds from another Templar location. For medieval people, this was revolutionary. In many ways, it resembled modern banking. Soon merchants, nobles, and even kings trusted the Templars with their wealth. Money poured into Templar vaults. Their network expanded across Europe and the Middle East. They owned farms, vineyards, mills, castles, ports, and trading centers. What began as a small religious order had become a financial empire. And with wealth came influence, lots of influence. Chapter 5. Power beyond kings. By the late 1200s, the Templars had become incredibly powerful. They answered directly to the Pope. Local kings often had little authority over them. They possessed enormous wealth. Their castles were among the strongest in Europe. Their banking system connected entire kingdoms. Some rulers even borrowed money from the Templars. This created a dangerous situation, because history teaches us one lesson repeatedly. Power attracts enemies. And the Knights Templar were about to make one of the most powerful enemies imaginable, the King of France. Chapter 6. King Philip's Problem. The ruler of France was Philip IV of France. Philip faced serious financial troubles. Wars had drained his treasury, his debts were growing, and one of the organizations he owed money to was the Knights Templar. The king desperately needed wealth. The Templars possessed enormous wealth. Some historians believe this was more than a coincidence, because what happened next would shock Europe. Chapter 7. Friday the 13th. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, a secret operation unfolded across France. Royal officials received sealed orders. They were instructed not to open them until the same moment. When the orders were finally revealed, soldiers moved quickly. Templars across the kingdom were arrested. Many were captured before they even knew what was happening. The accusations were shocking: heresy, blasphemy, secret rituals, worshipping strange idols. The charges spread fear throughout Europe. But were they true? Or were they merely an excuse to destroy a powerful organization? Historians still debate that question today. Chapter 8. The Fall of the Order. Under intense pressure, many prisoners confessed. Some later claimed they had been tortured. The controversy reached the highest levels of the church. Eventually, the Pope dissolved the Knights Templar. Their properties were seized. Their members scattered. Their organization vanished. A group that had once influenced kings and shaped history was gone. Just like that, or so it seemed. Because one mystery remained unsolved: the missing treasure. Chapter 9. The Lost Treasure Mystery. When authorities searched Templar properties, they expected to find enormous riches. Instead, many reported finding far less than anticipated. This sparked centuries of speculation. Had the treasure been moved before the arrests? Did secret ships carry it away? Was it hidden somewhere in Europe? No one knows. Legends soon began spreading. Stories connected the Templars to hidden vaults, secret maps, and lost gold. Over time, these stories grew larger and more mysterious. Some even claimed the Templars possessed sacred relics of unimaginable importance. But evidence remains elusive, and that uncertainty only deepened the mystery. Chapter 10. Legends and Conspiracies. As centuries passed, the Knights Templar became more than a historical organization. They became a legend. Books, movies, and conspiracy theories linked them to secret societies. Some claimed they discovered hidden knowledge beneath Jerusalem. Others suggested they protected ancient secrets. There were even stories connecting them to the Holy Grail. Most historians remain skeptical of these claims, yet the fascination continues. Because mysteries have a unique power over the human imagination, especially when the truth is incomplete. The real story of the Knights Templar is both simpler and more extraordinary than many legends suggest. They began as a small group of devoted knights. They became warriors, bankers, landowners, and political powers. For nearly 2 centuries, they shaped the medieval world. Then, in a dramatic series of events, they disappeared. But unlike many organizations that fade into history, the Templars left behind questions that still echo today. Questions about power, questions about wealth, questions about secrets, and perhaps the greatest mystery of all: how much of the legend is true, and how much remains hidden, waiting to be discovered. The Knights Templar may be gone, but their mystery lives on.